Hello, good morning to you. Welcome once again to a new week episode 15 of the Read With Me series 2. We're learning and we're reading this book, Help I'm Raising My Children Alone, a guide for single parents and those who sometimes feel they are single. So you're welcome. We thank God for a new day. We thank God for a new week. This week, we thank God for His mercies and His loving kindness towards us. So, we thank God for the grace to be able to be alive and to see a new day and to enjoy the blessings that are in this life. You see, the blessing of family, the blessing of loved ones, the blessing of having children, the blessing of having siblings, the blessings of, seeing so many things that let's think about the things that we have, So you're welcome. I remain Abiola Ogunwale. All right, so we're going to go dive into it straight away. No wasting of time. If you have any comments or anything at any point, put it in the comment section. I'd like to really hear from you. I like more interaction. Just give me feedback. Let me just hear how this has impacted you, or if you've learned anything one way or the other. So last week we were talking about we started a chapter talking about the sins of the father, and if you missed any of the episodes, please go back and watch it. It's on the IG Live, and also I'll upload it again on YouTube. Okay, and by the way, if you're watching this and you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Okay, so we'll go on. Judges 11 verse 1 to 2. Judges 11 verse 1 to 2. NAS version says, "Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a valiant warrior, but he was the son of a harlot." He was a valiant warrior, but, there's a but. Do you have a but in your life? Do you have a but in your life? But he was the son of a harlot, and Gilead was the father of Jephthah. And Gilead's wife bore him sons, and when his wife's sons grew up, they drove Jephthah out and said to him, "You shall not have an inheritance in our father's house, for you are the son of another woman." Wow. Facing discrimination, rejection, and all sort of stuff as a result of the circumstances surrounding his birth. Okay, understand that as we approach this issue, I am not equating children born out of wedlock as being murdered by a harlot. This is the author just trying to clarify things here. It says that is not my intent. I merely use the story to illustrate the fact that grace can cover even the most disgraceful acts. Grace can cover even the most disgraceful acts. I know that many good and decent girls fall prey to the wiles of the enemy and have children out of wedlock. Let's go on. It says, girls fall prey to the wiles of the enemy and have children out of wedlock. For that matter, many good and decent girls have been spoiled in the streets by prostitution. By prostitution that resulted from hunger, drugs, and other ills of our society. So sometimes, if you have not gone through something, it's very easy for you to just condemn or judge people. But if you are put in the same situation, you probably, make the same decision that they made in that circumstances that they went through. So really, nobody holding pass. So whatever the case is, grace is sufficient. Whatever the case is, grace is sufficient. Now, as we explore these delicate issues, we do it knowing full well that the outcome of the child's life is not predicated upon the circumstances of the mother or father. Jephthah was the illegitimate, unrecognized child of a man named Gilead. He was mocked and scorned and denied by his half-brothers. It was off to a rather deplorable beginning. Could that be your story? Is that your story? Even before coming back again, that you feel like history is repeating itself again in your life. Is that your story? But God stepped in and turned Jephthah's tragedies into opportunities. God, if you allow God to step into your life, He can turn those things that you seem that are tragic, that are tragedies in your life, and He can turn it into opportunities. Jephthah was like many children in this country. That's in America now, because the author is T.D. Jakes in America. It says that Jephthah was like many children in this country who are born out of the passionate loins of the elite, whose passion is far greater than their compassion. Wow. Whose passion is far greater than their compassion. It is tragic anytime a mother or father seems to have no interest in caring for what they helped to create. It's a tragic situation. It's a tragic situation. So when we are led by our feelings, we are led by the romantic feeling of the heat of the moment and everything, and then the passion that created that child. After the child is created and everything, you don't want to know anything about the child anymore. It's a tragic occurrence, a tragic and traumatic situation to be in. You see, so to make the child suffer for the mistakes of the parents is a tragedy and an injustice. I'm going to say that again. I think this will wake a lot of people up. I'm going to read that again and over again so that we can get it. To make the child suffer for the mistakes of the parents is a tragedy and an injustice. So when we're calling out things in our society and saying that, oh, this government did this or this politician did this, sometimes let's evaluate our own lives and what we are doing right from the family unit and how we are living our lives. Jephthah was forced out of his rightful inheritance. Many of you have been through circumstances in which you were not treated fairly financially. You have been left rearing a child without the financial aid of a father or mother. I know the laws are changing, but as the courts prosecute deadbeat dads for child support, they must realize that support means more than money. Support means more than just sending monthly support to the parent of the child or the person that the child is staying with. It's not only just money. Emotionally, psychologically, socially, there has to be support for the child to thrive. You don't just abscond and just think that, okay, you're providing physically for the child or whatever. The child has a home to live in or close to where, whatever, and then the child is okay. No. The child, it's like today I'm soliciting for the child. I'm becoming a voice to that voiceless child, that has been neglected and abandoned by parents that don't want to have anything to do with them because they hit them, because they had an affair or something happened and they don't want the child to be known by their family or whatever. I'm advocating for that child. Okay, the child needs support, and no matter what happens, the child deserves the input of both parents, irrespective of the situation that created them or the circumstances that created them. A child has been born. All right, so and we cannot neglect the fact that a child has been born in whatever situation that happened in the conception of the child. A child has been born, and we must be responsible enough as adults and people, in our society today, because it's going to haunt you. It's going to haunt you for the rest of your life. So, therefore, in order for you to have peace in your life, it might be tough to tell the partner or the person that you're in relationship with. You see, until we live the truth in this our generation, until we live the truth, until we expose the truth and actually live the truth, we can never be free. The guilt in your mind that is making you have sleepless nights because you have so many secrets. A lot of people are living with strangers. They don't know it because there's so many things that people are not saying in relationships that they feel like, if my wife knows or if my husband knows that this, you know what? It's high time. This is a new time, a new season. It's high time to spill the beans. Hello? Spill the beans. Spill the beans and be free in your life. If you're going to say yes to this life, you might as well say yes to having peace of mind, no matter what it costs. Okay? Not saying all those things is just going to deprive the children. It will be chaotic, quite all right. It will break people's hearts when they hear the truth, quite all right. But guess what? They will be healed. They'll be broken-hearted, but later they will get up. They'll be healed. You see, but then at least you know that you are living the truth. You don't have any skeleton in your cupboard, and nobody's suffering anyhow, any shape or form as a result of what your actions or your inactions. So this is a wake-up call for you that you're watching this today, and for me that I'm even speaking today. So I just read on. It says that having two parents provides a lot of things in addition to finances. So recently, our insurance agent increased the death benefit on my wife's policies. This is the author talking here. And it was not because she is the primary breadwinner. It was because she contributes things to the children and myself that would be difficult, if not impossible, to replace. So they are not just monetary. They are in other arenas. So his reason for increasing the policy was simple. If I had to hire someone to provide what she gives to the family, it would be expensive and to a degree impossible. So my point is that she contributes much more than money. So do I. We each contribute our unique perspective. Neither of us is totally right. It is through the intermingling of our perspectives that the children receive wholeness. Okay? We need all children. In our society today, a lot of people's minds are messed up. A lot of a generation is messed up because of what parents are doing, because of what adults are doing, because people are not making informed decisions when it comes to sex. Things are going on in our society and somebody needs to speak up about it. Hello? In my book, Daddy Loves His Girls, I mentioned that the women tends to favor our sons and prepare our daughters. She does that because she's enamored by the boys. She doesn't have to prepare them for manhood because she has a perspective of what it is like to be a man. She almost seems to me too lenient at times with them. Why do I feel that way? Because I have a tendency to want to prepare them for what it is like to be a man in the world today. This is the author talking. He is a man too. On the other hand, my little girls, whom my wife has a tendency to want to train and prepare for womanhood, seem to get away with murder with me. That's the author talking. It says, I love them all, but I train the boys and favor the girls. So you see the both parents with the opposite gender of the child, the way they're handling them. She trains the girls and favors the boys. So through having two parents, children get a balance between being trained and being favored. So when they have the input of both parents, they get a balance of being trained by one and being favored by one. You kind of have, you can't be just too strict on the child, for the two people, and be like, oh, you're living in hell or something. But when one trains you, one favors you, you kind of have a mix which is good. So we need that. Every child deserves that. Is a human right. It's their human right to be able to have that from both parties that created them, both parents that created them. So when you are but one parent raising a family, you must balance your perspectives between training sometimes and favoring sometimes, because now in the reality of the sense of the matter is that the other person is not there, because we're talking to single parents. If the other person is not there involved in the child as at the moment or in that season, what do you do? So you must be informed that you need to balance your perspectives between training sometimes and favoring sometimes. It is not easy, but it is easy when you are aware of the need to do both. It's not easy, but it is going to be easy when you are aware of the need to do both. And that's why information is important. When we read these things, we'll be able to know how to navigate that season of your life, of our lives, in a much more graceful way, because we are coming from a place of knowledge. And sometimes when we don't have from a place of knowledge, we just mess the whole things up with our emotions. We mess things up. We mess children's lives up. We mess our life up. We mess their relationship up because we do not because we lack knowledge to navigate that season of our lives. So I just read on. It says that it is not easy, but it is easier when you are aware of the need to do both. So I share these things with you so you can understand some of the differences in our contribution to the children. So when you understand them, you will know better how to pray and how to fill the gap. You will know better how to pray and how to fill the gap. So your child can be successful even with one parent. None of us come from completely ideal situations, whether we have two parents or one. So life tends to ensure that all of us gain some exposure to broken areas. Life ensure that all of us gain some exposure to broken areas. Yet, God is able to mend the cracks and span the breach that life has left uncovered. Wow. What a mighty God. What a mighty God. So let's continue to look at Jephthah and how God became the edge that he needed to achieve. Jephthah was denied the community of his family. He was denied the sense of belonging. Wow. He was denied the camaraderie of brotherhood and the dignity of a family name. Wow. He was identified by a mistake made by his parents for which he was not even responsible. Sadly, a degree of our struggle begins before we do. It begins in the situation and the environment into which we are born. Some problems are waiting for us when we come out of the womb. Those obstacles we must hurdle if we are going to be effective. The crying infant who squirms in the hands of the attending physician screams in shock as he is taken out of the one place of provision in the womb and into the ash light of a waiting world. Some things were in place before the child even had a chance to act. No wonder he cries with the first sucking in of hair. It is almost as if he knows what he has to face. Oh God. Some face poverty and others discrimination. These issues are there from birth. Life doesn't wait to form an opinion about each individual. Some prejudices and poverty are prenatal. Some of those precious children are born screaming for a father's arms that would never hold them. They would never see a green man sit in the stands of a football field and smile warmly while his son stumbles down the field. They would never experience that. Some would never know their birth mother. Some will find their mother's warm body waxing cold as they are snatched out just in time. They can hear the sound of the cardiologist fighting to save a mother whom they will never meet. Worse still, some are born to mothers whose addiction has become so strong that she would sell the child for another hit of a drug that only lasts a few seconds, thereby missing a lifetime of love and affection. These are realities. These are realities. And these are all, children that crying for love and affection. And realities of, things that are going on in our society, in our world, that we cannot turn a blind eye from. Building strong children from broken homes is the next subsection. Building, because with all of these things that we're doing here, is to build. It's not to destroy. It's to build hope, to build faith, to build encouragement, to build positivity, to build something beautiful, building something healthy, building functionality, building grace, building love, building joy, building peace in our world and in our society today. So we cannot stop building strong children from broken homes. I've seen men who could not afford to buy expensive lumber to remodel their home. They would build the big B-grade 2x4s. Sometimes they would purchase boards that bowed or had knots in them. These second-class materials cost substantially less because most men would not have the time or the skill to provide the special treatment that is needed to take these materials that admittedly add disadvantages and make them work. So yet, we must realize that they would not sell them if there were no demand for them. The price-conscious consumer would rather work harder, saving what others would readily spend. So, there has seldom been a time when a man took those boards and did the special firings and curtains necessary to avoid having the damaged places disrupt the finished product. Then, the finished product that I won't tell you proudly, I took less and did more with it. It is almost as if it takes pride in taking the disadvantage and overcoming it through skill and patience. It is that same sense of pride that a single parent exhibits when he or she raises a child and says, I raised that boy by myself. Most single parents will beam with pride, especially if the child turns out well adjusted. They will almost boast about the triumph that comes from overcoming adversity. Yes, you can take a broken home and still produce a straight, intelligent, progressive child. It will require special effort and extra attention to problem areas. But when it is over, you will beam with pride and say, I did it by myself. Just remember that God was helping behind the scenes. Don't just accord all the glory to yourself. You couldn't have made it by yourself. God was helping you behind the scenes and is still going to help you behind the scenes. He helped others overcome disadvantages. He will help you. He's available to help you. Always remember Jephthah, who probably had far less advantage than your child has, but look at what God could do with a broken home, a broken mother, a dysfunctional father. Those variables do not sound encouraging, but when God is in them, they still add up to success. In spite of all these disadvantages, we still end up with a whole son. What a mystery. My friend, Jephthah becomes a bright beacon of revelatory light in the darkness of all childhood disadvantages. His life is a sermon written with the ink of salty tears. It is a legacy to all who think that they are so disadvantaged that they cannot succeed. He was the son of a harlot, a tramp, a slut, a prostitute, or whatever you want to call it. He was the rejected brother of a family who showed no interest in him. He was smeared from birth with the stain of his parents' mistakes. He was perceived as a joke and an embarrassment. They spoke about him in whispers. They hushed when he would walk by. Everybody knew it was the result of a horrid, passionate moment. It was the after effect of a business transaction made between a slut and a client. Yet, he was to be God's man of faith and power. God uses the people that you think that they're so discarded, they are rejected. No, God doesn't make a waste. Only a protective parent who by nature wants only good for his or her children knows the pain that is incurred in the heart of a child who is not readily accepted by the community, the school, or even the church. Is a deep pain and a bleeding wound that can cause immeasurable discomfort for the parents, who over and over again does not explain why to the child. Instead, the parent also wonders why. This is so deep. This is so deep. I'll pause here to introduce or to make announcement about the online healing group that is available, that I want to make available to anyone that is interested. Online healing group. I'm actually a trained trauma healing facilitator, and as much as possible I want to offer help to anyone that needs it. So online healing group is going to run for 6 weeks, and it's like healing the wounds, your heart wounds or whatever. If you've gone through anything in life, any hurts or wounds or pain, grief, loss, whatever, relationship problems or whatever, it's for 6 weeks, because we need to pursue emotional healing. And I feel like more than offering you money or more than offering you anything, I mean, when you are really, really whole, you operate from a place of wholeness or healing or health, you have a beautiful quality of life. And if you're going to be alive, everybody deserves to have a good quality of life, a life that is free from wounds and hurts. You are wounded, but you shouldn't stay wounded. You are hot, but you shouldn't stay hot. So that you can just live a beautiful life. And that's what God wants us to have. So if you're interested, I put the flyer on my stories. I don't know if I should just post it, but I might post it or I'll put it on my stories. So if you're interested, it's going to go on for 6 weeks, and it's going to be Saturday mornings for 2 hours. Saturday mornings for 2 hours for 6 weeks. And it's going to be online, so you can join it anywhere in the world. But I need to know who is interested in this. So you can send me a DM on Instagram here. Send me a DM, or you can email me at abiola@outlook.com. But send me a DM, and then I'll be able to know. And the deadline is, I think, 21st of August is the deadline to show your interest. Don't just drink your sorrows away. Don't just party your sorrows away. Don't just shop your sorrows away, or just doing shopping therapy or whatever. Don't just put it on the side, but deal with it, confront it, with tools that is available to you, and it's free. It's free. So it's my special gift to you. It's free. It's going to cost me my time and all that, but hey, I don't mind. It's free. It's something that it's more like they're giving you free godly therapy, really, because this one is with God. We use the word of God, because at the end of the day, it's only the word of God that can suit us, that can really meet us and suit our pain. Nothing else really can heal. Nothing else can heal. But the Bible says that, the word there says that it's close to the brokenhearted. So God is so beautiful, and it meets you at the point of your need, whatever your circumstances is. It makes sense out of it all, and it gives you joy that is unspeakable. It gives you peace that is unspeakable, no matter what life has thrown at you. All right, so I bring you good news. I point you to Jesus, because it deserves to be known, and it should be known. If you're alive, you should actually. It's a privilege, and it's a beautiful thing to know him, because in this journey of life, and in whatever it is that you face in life will happen to everybody. Whatever it is that you face in life, it just makes it make sense. It makes it all make sense. All right, so I'm going to be ending today's podcast until I come your way again tomorrow, next week, Monday at 12 GMT. Stay blessed, stay joyful, stay hopeful. Be joyful, be hopeful, and enjoy and be grateful for the things that life has to offer to you. So enjoy yourself, and remain Abiola. Don't forget to follow us all over our social media platforms at the sign with Abiola on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and also on Instagram also, and then on Facebook. All right, I would like to hear from you. If you watch this video up to this moment, I want to hear from you in the comment section. Put it down in the comment section, and take care of yourself. Have a lovely week, everyone. Love you. Bye.